Now that's what I call a gutsy win. I literally threw my shoulder out on that last strike three call from Edwin Diaz. The bullpen, gritty as all hell. Gregory Soto looked filthy, 98 miles an hour from a lefty out of the pen. Brooks Raley comes in, gets the job done. Kodai Senga was kind of on and off, battling the entire game, Dan, but he gets us what we needed. And obviously, let's call a spade a spade. Ronnie Mauricio going 4 for 4 tonight. What an unbelievable breakout game for him. 2 doubles, a single, and the big home run into McCovey Cove. The bottom of this lineup battling. McNeil gets a double. Alvarez gets a couple of hits. And at one point, the top of this lineup was 0 for 11. And you're wondering, are they ever going to come through? But you knew once Soto hit that home run, you knew he hit it right off the bat, Dan. Overall, gutsy win. And you know what's funny? This is one of those games where Edwin Diaz loaded the bases late, and I was not nervous at all. I felt he was going to come through. Big win for the New York Mets. Phillies lose to the Yankees, giving us a 1.5 game lead in the standings. Overall, things are looking great. We'll get to the latest and greatest when it comes to the trade deadline, as we have a lot of rumors to get to, Dan and I. But let's get to Dan's comments first on this game.
What a win. 7 straight for the New York Mets. Unbelievable. You had a whole team effort today. Ronnie Mauricio, this guy's untouchable. I don't need to see anything else. And if you think we're crazy, then I don't know what else to say. Yep. This guy is legit. You have 2 legit third basemen now. That's the next question, right? Who is the third baseman? That we can decide that after the trade deadline, because we both know that Ronnie Mauricio and Brett Beatty are here to stay. Mark, yes. Different story, but Ronnie Mauricio, unbelievable. The power today was for real. Soto, the power was for real, and you said it too with Jeff McNeil. This guy is unbelievable. This team is unbelievable, and that's a sweep. Let's keep it rolling. 7 straight for the New York Mets, getting ready to face Jose Iglesias, an old friend with the San Diego Padres, but we'll circle around to that. Unbelievable win today for the Mets.
Yeah, you're looking at the bottom half of this lineup. McNeil, 2 hits. Marte, 2 hits. Beatty goes 0 for 3, but he does get the big walk. Alvarez, 2 for 4. Mauricio, 4 for 4. You're looking at the bottom of this lineup. Unbelievable, especially when you consider Lindor, 0 for 5. He continues to struggle, be on and off. Soto, 1 for 4, but that big one was a monster hit. Pete, 0 for 5. So really, the 1 through 4 today, you have 2 hits total out of their 14. They had 19 at bats. They were 2 for 19 on the day, but a couple of big hits. Then we go to the pitching. I mean, it just, I'm trying to find the pitching here. I don't know how they scored, but we all know how it worked out. Here we go. Senga, 5 innings, 3 runs, and really was late. His ERA goes up to 2 after today. But Budo gives you a solid inning. Gregory Soto, the new lefty, gives you a full inning. Reed Garrett gives you 2/3. Raley comes in and cleans it up, even though that's one thing about what the Mets have now with their left-handed pitching. Think about this, people. We came into the year with Minter, even Castillo. Castillo wasn't pitching terribly for the Mets, and they DFA him today because his bullpen is getting deeper. Brooks Raley comes in, and I had no bones about it. They pinch hit Wilmer Flores. I knew Raley was going to get it done. That's what's good about having this veteran leadership. And Diaz, even though he gets to 2 walks, comes through with the strikeouts to end it. His ERA dips below 1.5 to a 1.48. Overall, great team win. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I was frustrated as all hell watching Juan Soto take strike 3 right down the middle. It's one thing to be patient, but you want to see him be aggressive. And of course, his next at bat, he gets the fastball, launches it to left field in a ballpark where it's very hard to hit home runs. And one thing I'll say too, Dan, I think you'll agree with me. We talk about exit velo. And for a lot of the people who are older, might not know a ton about what that is. It's the velocity the ball exits the bat. Ronnie Mauricio was in the 1% while he was in the minor leagues. And usually it's a telltale sign. When he hits the ball, he hits it hard. It comes off the bat differently with this kid. Home run 105 miles an hour, a double at 104. He's got all the tools. You know what's funny? We wouldn't be having this conversation if he didn't blow out his knee 2 years ago in fall ball and miss all last year. He is a work in progress. And it's something we need to remember. He's only going to get better. And they spoke out on the broadcast. And let's be honest, the broadcast tonight, I'll touch on that really quick. What a terrible, terrible broadcast. You see him hit the home run, and the broadcasters are like this, completely devastated. I don't know what it is. Maybe Frank the Tank's on to something with ESPN. Screw them. Bring me Ronnie, Keith, and Gary, the best booth in baseball. I am pumped. San Diego's next. We're coming home from the weekend. I will be there Saturday. I cannot wait, Dan.
ESPN, I'm sorry. The broadcast was awful tonight. We're just being straight up. They have to be better. We'll see what the whole contract dispute and stuff. I know they're trying to renegotiate their whole deal, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. But yeah, again, just an unbelievable game for the Mets tonight. Senga was a little rough. I'm not going to just let him get out of the woods on this one, but I think in totality, Gregory Soto was unbelievable, right? Like, I'm really happy that he's a Met. And Reed Garrett, again, a little shaky. Diaz, a little shaky at the end, but a win is a win, right? And that's all that really matters. The Mets are going to San Diego, winners of 7 straight. So let's keep it going.
And I'll tell you this too, guys. And yes, I see some comments about my voice. I don't know if you guys were here yesterday. Dan and I did a 2.5-hour live stream. Unbelievable. I was muting my mic while I was screaming. Dan's talking about Buffalo Wild Wings, but it was one of the best times I had here on the Metcast platform. And we'll try to get to a couple more of those, but that's where my voice is. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs with my dad upstairs. If any of you guys want to see the best video ever, my daughter's screaming, "Let's go Mets," 2 years old. My wife's devastated, but I love it. I will say that without a doubt. Other positive news to get to. Carson benched today for Double-A, the Mets' first-round pick last year. 3 for 3, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, a walk in his 4th at bat. His average is now 351 with 1,059 OPS down in AAA. He is quickly becoming another untouchable asset for the New York Mets. If not, he might be there already, adding himself to the Jet Williams, the Nolan McLean, to Brandon Sproats, and the Jonah Tongues. The Mets are going to have 5 top 100 prospects by the end of August. Think about where we've come from a couple years ago. And I saw earlier today, I believe it was John Heyman talking about it. He said the Mets farm system is very highly regarded throughout baseball. Even guys like AJ Ewing, who are down in single A, are very highly thought after. And pretty much the Mets could get anybody they want. That's kind of what they're alluding to. Now, will Stern spend recklessly? Of course not. But we're starting to hear the rumblings. I can confirm to you right now on Metcast, through our source that we have, the New York Mets were talking prospects today with the Miami Marlins. It was either last night or today with the Miami Marlins. But unfortunately, we don't know what players they're talking about coming in return. Whether it's to Edward Cabrera, I believe it's in regard to Sandy Alcantara. There were reports a couple weeks ago the Mets checked in with him. Now we're talking about prospect exchanges. And what I asked the source that I spoke to, who's well within the Mets organization, is it just a Mets thing or is it they're talking to baseball? They said, no, they're strictly talking with us. So keep an eye out for Miami. If a deal happens, you heard it here first. But that is somebody who I trust. You guys see the reporters we have on here. We are no BS. I will never make anything up. That's something I can guarantee you here on Metcast. Obviously, Dan's plugged in. He works for the Post. But outside of that, you see the guests we have. They're well connected inside the organization. And it's exciting to be a Mets fan right now. You see the rumors going on with Luis Robert. Not a big upgrade. I personally think there's a chance that we end up with Harrison Bader. And I don't want Met fans to be overzealous when it comes to this, Dan. Harrison Bader is a solid player, way better than Tyron Taylor. But he's hitting 250, mid-sevens OPS with Minnesota. But he's hit 232 the last 2 years. That's probably what it's going to be here. He's in a no-pressure situation out there with the Twins. A lot of that's going to change. That's why I'm very glad. And it might not always be this way, Dan. Give me your perspective. I'm glad Gregory Soto got thrown right into the mix of things. Right in there. There's no kid gloves. You're coming in. You're getting high leverage outs, whether it's a lefty or a righty. He comes out throwing 97, 95, 98 with that crazy sweeper of his. I see a lot of Oriole fans in my mentions. Well, wait till he can't throw a strike. Yeah, well, I'll wait till then. Tonight, he looked filthy. He looked confident. He looked like he had his stuff together, throwing strikes, getting his breaking ball over, high and inside with his fastball, high and away, dotting the corners. It's good to see that. You could see the molding of why he was an all-star just a couple of years ago. Add another piece to that bullpen, dare I say two, and this team has a chance to go far.
Yeah, and Gregory Soto, I think it was after last night's game, he was talking about, oh, he saw from the outside the Mets were really doing good things, and he wanted to be a part of it, and now he is. Now he's thrown into the fire, as you said. He got that good inning under his belt, and I think that's going to be a big launching off point for him. Confidence-wise, stuff-wise was real tonight. So all positives, right? I mean, there's definitely things we can say that are negative, but I don't feel like saying them, right? Because today – a 5-3 win, I'm not too down in the dumps as a lot of people could be on a night like this, looking at specific things. But again, overall, really, really solid.
And I'll tell you this, Dan, I know you could elaborate on it more. How about that pitch Ronnie Mauricio hit out? It was a down and in slider. For him to have the bat control to not only get his hands inside to keep it fair, but to launch it 105 miles an hour into the cove, that is something special. And even the broadcast that hates us so much and don't think they don't, because they do. It was clear by their actions. That was a missile. And even they said, this kid has the potential to be special. Guys like that don't grow on trees. And it's funny, Ronnie Mauricio, I don't believe was ever a top 100 prospect, but the tools were always there. And the ceiling is an all-star. The ceiling is a 3-hitter eventually on this team. I'm not kidding when I say that. When you have a switch hitter, if Ronnie Mauricio hits 260 to 265, I could easily see him having over an 800 OPS. That 5 tool, I'll steal 20 to 30 bags. I'll have 25 to 30 home runs. And just play stellar defense. He's a work in progress at third. A lot of Met fans, including myself, love to get on Ronnie Mauricio at third base. He's learning that position. And that's another thing, Dan, you just brought up early on. And I think you'll agree with me. The future of this team is Beatty at second and Mauricio at third. Beatty looks so comfortable at second, which I'm shocked I'm even saying, because he was a below average third baseman just last year. And now he looks so much smoother. That one play that he made today, fielding in the hole, getting his body turned around on the run, throwing it to Pete Alonso, the broadcast spoke about it. It's just all around was a good, gritty win. Now let's get to some of your guys' comments. If you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, hit that like button, give us a sub over on YouTube, and consider becoming a member. We'll start it off with one of our OGs, Goomba. Wasn't worried a single bit. I'm not going to say I wasn't worried at all, but I felt very confident about Diaz. How did you feel there?
Not confident, especially when he walked, with bases low. It's just the Diaz special, right? He loves to walk guys. I don't know what it is about him, but yeah, I can't say I was confident in Diaz today. It was a little bit of a shaky outing from him. But again, a win is a win, a save is a save, and you have to go down with the ship too. Some people, saying, oh, put in Rico Garcia in that instance. No, I mean, you start the inning with Edwin Diaz, you finish the inning with Edwin Diaz. And I think that's the right approach, and I'm glad that the Mets did that.
Kuma follows up, was yelling the major league strike this MF out. Dope when Mauricio's a beast in the making. Kid has power that we really rely on for a long time.
The cycle by one base today.
Yep. And I can see he's the guy that you could see blossoming this year, kind of like Vientos did last year in the playoffs. And you notice one thing, Dan, when Mauricio's in the lineup, not saying it's always like this with Vientos, but there's a different feel. You can't, and we spoke about it earlier on the, we spoke about it earlier on the podcast, on your space. Vientos clogs the DH. When you're watching Mauricio in the field and Brett Beatty in the field, you just can't have, it just is what it is. I think there's a good chance Vientos is moved prior to the deadline. And now you're also seeing why teams are calling in regard to Starling Marte. Talk about another guy who's red hot.
DH is interesting, right? Because you can clog the DH position two ways, either positionally, where you can just be a DH, and that's unfortunate, but there's also the side of the plate that you're batting, right? You're a right-handed DH. You're clogging one side of the plate. Mauricio, I think at the end of the day, you can DH him and feel good about it because you know he has both sides of the plate covered. Ideally, you want him in the field, but those conversations about, hey, a full-time DH, It's not really the case with a Vientos versus like a Mauricio. Vientos, yeah, he's kind of a full-time DH at this point. Mauricio, not as much. So it's all good things for sure.
I could see one day Mauricio transitioning to left field or right field. He's got a cannon out there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Drew Gilbert, too, tearing it up down in AAA. Don't be surprised if he's not moved at the deadline, if we see him sooner rather than later. Zach, what's going on, my guy? Ronnie's an everyday third baseman. I don't care what anybody says. We've been saying that for forever. And then tomorrow we'll see Mark Vientos in the lineup. I don't get it.
Right.
Robert says, Ray sounds like he was yelling at the TV all day. Well, it was today and yesterday during this broadcast. Also, screaming with my daughter, let's go Mets. I could not stop doing that. She's just so damn cute. George says Mauricio is much better than Beatty. Better arm and a faster runner. I wouldn't say much better. I feel like right now, Beatty's the more complete player where like Mauricio can surpass him. Don't get me wrong. He could easily surpass him. But as of right now, I think Beatty's a little more smooth in the field. Madeline, wow. Hi, guys. Awesome. That's right. What a win. What a win. Let's see. Get a couple more before we wrap things up for tonight. It's going to be a late night. I'm sure you're going to have a space. Hebrew, call up Gilbert. Maybe. I think he's going to be a post-deadline thing. They're not going to expose him. Let's go shakedown, Brad says. That's right.
Yeah.
Robert says, Mauricio is hot. Play the hot hands. Beatty is cooling off again, but you got to stick with him. You have to stick with him. You got to let him battle in and out. The second someone struggles, you can't just yank him out of there. You can't. JC, what's up, gents? Great win.
Let's go.
Bottom carried us. Absolutely. Wasn't even close. But that's what you want. The top of the lineup's not always going to work out. We know that. You got to have others contribute. John says, get us started without giving up Beatty or Mauricio. I don't think they're going anywhere. The rumors are that Chicago wants Mark Vientos for Robert, and I don't think they're going to get him. And I don't think there's a lot of teams out there going to be willing to take on his contract. Because let's be honest, Dan, if you're trading for him, you're trading for him with the intention of picking up that option next year. Right?
Right. Definitely.
Nice Met debut by Soto. Yes, the other Soto, Gregory. That's right. Jeff, awesome. Jeff McNeil contributes again, like always. I would still like him to play more permanently in the infield, but that's also another debate. You bring in a real center fielder. Jeff's playing every day. He's going back to second. You're back to having three guys at third base. It doesn't work. You could have two where Beatty plays a day in left, a day in second, a day in third. Maybe McNeil plays a day or two in center, and then you could DH whoever's the odd guy out. Sure. But you can't have three. Just can't.
Yep.
John says, need that one last high leverage reliever. Move Garrett back in inning. I think Garrett's fine as the eighth inning guy. I can see what you're saying. I also think Soto could be the eighth inning guy too, depending on the matchups. It's all about the matchups right now. That's modern day baseball for you.
Sure.
Let's get to a couple more here. From Omar, let's go Mets. Beatty at second, Mauricio at third, Alvarez, another solid game tonight. Behind the dish, Gregory Soto, light it up. Let's get LA Pantera from the White Sox and go to war. I think we need a little more. I want more than what we need. I want more than what people think we need. Because let's be real. Our starting rotation, and that's why I want Sandy so much. Our starting rotation, someone's going to go down. That's just inevitable. The five that we have right now are not going to be the five we end the season with. That just is. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. You believe Montas is going to stay healthy the whole year when he hasn't been healthy once in the last five. Stanga's pitched 6 starts in the last 2 years, or 7 starts in the last 2 years. Where's he going to be at? Sean Manaea missed a whole. He's only had 3 starts all season, or 2 or 3 starts all season at the end of July. Clay Holmes blowing out his innings, probably a higher injury risk going to the bullpen. Peterson's been the only steady guy that you feel confident is going to be there every day. I'd rather go to a 6-man rotation, and God forbid one of them goes down. I have a veteran like Sandy Alcantara in there, and I feel more comfortable bringing up a Brandon Sproat, a Nolan McLean. Because if 2 guys go down, we're going to be back to the Warrens, the Tyler McGills. No, thank you. This division is ours to take, and I want it this year.
Amen. Shout out to the Yankees too, getting the job done against the Phillies today.
They stink.
That's huge. So now the Mets are 1.5 games up on Philadelphia, that's a big cushion. That's big, definitely. So keep it going.
All right, we'll get to one more. Robert, Buffalo Wild Wings is awful, Dan. Chain wing places are generally bad. Come to Napa and I'll take you to Wing Place. They'll rock your socks off like that's for you, Dan. There you go.
Oh man, yeah. Well, I have to try it out, Nolan. Definitely.
All right, guys. That's it for us today. Again, if you ever want to be guaranteed to get your comments read, consider becoming a member or subscribing over on Facebook. Dan, any closing remarks before we take on San Diego?
That's it. I mean, it's going to be a big week, right? Tonight is the night teams kind of figure out, according to Mike Puma, where they're going to be in terms of the deadline. So we'll have more clarity in the next couple days. We'll be having constant coverage over this trade deadline, bringing you the best. And hopefully the Mets make a couple more moves. I don't think they're done. So let's keep it going, and let's go Mets. Big, big win tonight. 7 straight. Let's go.
Yep. And if something happens, there's a good chance we're going to go live. I'm working late tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Be sure to check out Dan's Spaces over on X. Give us a follow across all the media platforms. Like this video. Take care. Let's go, Mets.
Let's go, Mets, guys. God bless.